Good evening, everyone. I'm Rabbi Devorah Lynn, co-founder of Jewish Earth Alliance. Welcome to our monthly national briefing. And if this is your first time, we're delighted to have you arrive. And if you have been here before or are one of our regular devoted people, thank you so much for your devotion. So tonight we always start our Jewish Earth Alliance was founded by Mirla Goldsmith and myself in Washington, D.C. in 2019. It was not the best of times then either, and but we persisted, and we welcome you to work and lobby and be active on climate issues and climate legislation. So to every night, every meeting, we always start with an inspiration. And tonight we will be inspired by a nationally known musician, a terrific, sorry, wait a minute. There we go. Tonight we will be inspired by a nationally known musician, and then followed by a physicist, state senator, activist, and energized by an action alert at the end of the gathering tonight. So tonight we will be inspired by Seattle-based Chava Morel, who is a nationally touring singer, guitarist, composer, prayer leader, and recording artist. She bridges communities with her universal approach to spirituality through song. Chava has toured and recorded with a spectrum of artists, including Reggie Watts, punk icon Ari Up, jazz fusion band Duenda Libre, reggae artist Clinton Fearon, and has released 3 albums. Source of Love, one of the most popular. And in the Jewish context, she has performed with Dan Nichols, worked with them, Dan Nichols and Julie Silver, and the trio New Moon Rising with Alana Arian and Deborah Sachs-Mintz, and Hadar's Rising Song Fellowship. Many of you are very familiar with those Jewish contexts. In her spare time, Chava serves as musical director of her home congregation, Temple Beth Am in Seattle. Welcome, Chava. We're delighted that you are here with us to share some of your music.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here and for this very important reason that we're all gathered for to support our earth and our planet and our health and the health of everyone, every living being. So I'm going to start with a song that I wrote, a song of welcoming, a song that reminds us of the values that we hold most dear. And let me know, I'm sure you will, if you can't hear me, I will adjust the sound. Do-do-do, do-do-do.
Spread it with the rising sun. Spread it in a river of blessing. Spread it in this moment now and every now to come. Spread it with the rising sun. Spread it in a river of blessing. Spread it in this moment now and every now to come. Come all of you. Come all of us and spread some love and kindness.
This may be a little unconventional, but I want you to put your view on gallery, if you can, because we are all here. And once you get on gallery and you can make your screen as big as is humanly possible, then you'll see that you are surrounded by angels, and you can even move your screen into the middle of the entire thing. Your little rectangle, put it in the middle, because you will now be surrounded by love, by support, by community. Isn't that cool? Now do this other thing with me. Lean in just a couple inches closer to your camera and look at our friends here, because when we do this, you know, our brains don't know the difference between whether we're in a room alone or with each other when we can see each other's eyes like this. And during the pandemic, we did this as a practice to feel connected, you know, and we always still need this. Even though that thing is over, we still need this. So now that you feel surrounded by all the presence of these loving people who care so much and so deeply about our world and each other, now let's send a blessing around the circle and outward from us to the rest of the people, because we're the liaisons. We're the reps here. We're the ones repping for the rest of the crew. We're holding it down, and maybe next time some other people will be here, but today it's us. And so send whatever blessing you want. You can link it to this one I'm about to send out right here.
May we be blessed under the wings of divine compassion. And may we be safe in the embrace of everlasting love. Come all of you, come all of us, and spread some love and kindness. Come all of you, come all of us, and spread some love and kindness. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do.
Thank you. And thank you for indulging me, because I know that's just a good feeling. Now, one time, I'm only going to sing one more song because we have so many important things to do today, but one time our movement, the Reform movement of Judaism, but I think it went to other people too, they said, write as many protest songs as you can and we're going to make an album out of them. And so I wrote one, and my one was for, on behalf of the planet, you know, it's something we can all get behind. And I thought there must be some Jewish basis for this argument. And I didn't have to look far, because in the very first chapter of the Torah, in the book of Genesis, there's a phrase actually in Genesis 2 that says, God put the human or the earthling into the beautiful garden, and the commandment was, you must protect this garden, you must work, you must labor, you must really work hard. Put all your energy into it, to protecting this beautiful place. And that's what this group of people is doing here right now. You're fulfilling the mitzvah. That's I think it's the first mitzvah in the Torah. So I wrote a song that incorporates that line. It says, it's just two words, le'ovda u'shomra. Please work as hard as you can to protect her, because she is our home and we need her and she needs us. It's called Stand Up.
We stand on the earth, so we better stand for her together. We stand on the earth, so we better stand for her together. Stand up for Mother, stand up for each other. Stand up for Mother, stand up for each other. We were put in this paradise, it's our job to guard her life. We were put in this paradise, it's our job to guard her life. Stand up for Mother, stand up for each other. Stand up for Mother, stand up for each other. Oh, 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 oh.
Thank you so much, Kava, for that beautiful blessing. This is going to be a great evening. We always start with a blessing and end with a blessing. And we have the blessing of a beautiful group of people, a great turnout. So next, let me introduce you to Debbie Schwank, who is from our steering committee from New Jersey, and this evening is going to introduce our speaker. She's retired from the EPA. We'll introduce our speaker from New Jersey tonight.
Thank you, Devora. It's my pleasure to introduce Senator Andrew Zwicker of New Jersey. Senator Zwicker is both a respected scientist and accomplished legislator whose work bridges science and public policy. In the New Jersey Senate, he has championed research and innovation, voting rights, and climate action, including co-sponsoring New Jersey's own Climate Superfund Act to help ensure that the largest polluters contribute to the costs of climate damage. Outside the legislature, he's a physicist, science educator, and head of strategic partnerships and public engagement at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory. Senator Zwicker's career reflects the vital role that science plays in building a healthier, more resilient future. Please join me in welcoming a fellow New Jerseyan, Senator Andrew Zwicker.
Thank you, Debbie. My goodness, I only want to have Zoom meetings that start with a beautiful song or two from now on. So you've set the bar so high. I don't know how I'm going to go back. Thank you for having me here today for a little bit of time to speak about what's going on in New Jersey. And I'll speak for a little bit, but I very much want this to be a dialogue and a conversation and answer your questions. Before I get started, I have to say I was looking in the chat to the person from Walnut Creek. My brother and sister live in Walnut Creek, same last name. So I don't know if you've ever met them before. Retired but longtime teachers in the area. And I saw one other person talk about balcony solar in their state, and I am one of the people who working hard on getting balcony solar into New Jersey. Um, as Debbie said, I'm a scientist and a legislator. I'm one of only five, as far as we know, five physicists in the country who, are both Democrats or Republicans, because science is apolitical, but are in either the state legislature or the one physicist in Congress right now, which is from Illinois Congressman Bill Foster. I have, for what this is worth, both been on the Hill lobbying for climate-related issues. I'll tell you about it in a second. And of course, in my role as a state senator, I have met with stakeholders and advocates from New Jersey and around the country. Happy to, as you prepare for your own advocacy day, offer my 2 cents on what makes effective advocacy. I cannot help myself. I have spent the last 30 years working on fusion energy, which is, of course, nuclear energy without any of the pitfalls that nuclear has when it comes to safety, when it comes to nuclear weapon proliferation, or just overall health. Fusion is the ultimate source of energy, and I've been really fortunate to spend almost 30 years at Princeton at the Plasma Physics Laboratory. Debbie mentioned a couple of my roles. I started as a research scientist and have had a chance to do communication, science education, and much more. This is my 10th year in the legislature, where I try really hard to bring a scientific approach to all of public policy, not just climate policy things, but as well anything, environmental, economic, housing, whatever it may be. Could you imagine if in Congress these days that there was actually a debate using facts first as opposed to what's going on right now? It'd be just such a different world where, it was back to when we could have a common set of facts. There's no such thing as truthiness. And then we could debate the size of government, the role of government, and what is good, sound public policy. I remain an internal optimist that we will get back there. But it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of advocacy, and that's of course why you meet to advocate not just for love and kindness, but for the planet. Debbie mentioned New Jersey is really pushing hard now for our own Climate Superfund Act, and we're getting there. We are definitely on the way. It's been a remarkable, remarkable group of folks, environmental groups, people who have never been engaged before, who, when they learn about what the Superfund is about, and for those of you, I'm assuming most of you know, but I'll be very quick. Uh, Basically, it is going after the large fossil fuel companies, Exxon and BP and the equivalent, for decades of lying to the world about the impact of burning fossil fuels on the climate. They have known since the 60s, then, and quite frankly, in the late 50s and the early 60s, they had the most sophisticated computer modeling of anybody, better than any university or government lab. And it told them, maybe cruder than we know now, that burning fossil fuels was going to have the detrimental effect that we're all living with. They lied about it, they hid it. It's the same approach with the cigarette industry lying to us about the impact of cigarettes. They should be held accountable. In New Jersey alone, we're talking about multiple $billion. Obviously, the fossil, of coming in when we get this done. Obviously, the fossil fuel industry is adamantly against it. The various business groups are against it. Their talking points are all, you can refute them all, but they sound good. And of course, that's part of what good advocacy is about, is trying to make sure that the folks you're talking to, whether it's a member of Congress, Senate, or House, or one of their members, truly understands what the issue is, and I would argue what one side is saying, the opposing side is saying, and why that opposing side is wrong. Um, so New Jersey has we're not at the finish line yet, but we've had it in committee hearings in both houses, and we're working to get it onto the floor and send it off to the governor. If New Jersey can do it, so can any other state. And like I said quickly before, we're seeing, I mean, my goodness, the groups that are coming together and working together are just truly remarkable. And being blunt, that political pressure is so critically important because politics at this point, for the worse only, is certainly money and lobbyists and all the things that, of course, we're pushing back against. So, what else do I want to say? Yeah. New Jersey is an interesting place to be a state representative right now. We have 150-ish miles of coast, and according to Rutgers University, New Jersey is the most vulnerable state in the Northeast to the impact of climate change. We have barrier islands that are under enormous pressure, and our sea levels are rising, are threatening our barrier islands. We have enormous push inward with superstorms that are having a great impact. So we have got to get this right, and we have to work together with our neighboring states because climate is obviously not a state issue. It's a global issue. Our process has always been to put upward pressure on the federal government, regardless of administration. And obviously, we all know the incredible difficulties that this administration is providing us in so many different topics. But, it is said by others, not me, I'll just repeat it, that the states are the laboratories of democracy. And we get to move faster. To give you an idea, in the end of our last session, which ended in early January, I had 18 bills that I had written or sponsored make it to the governor's desk and sign into law. We can get a lot done at the state level. And so, one of the things that I would suggest is as you think about your advocacy in Congress, think about what you can do in your various states as well, because it goes back and forth. What happens to Congress filters down, and what happens in the states moves up. So, I could talk and talk and talk, but I'd rather turn this into a conversation and open it up to questions so that I can address whatever it may be. Last thing I'll say, for those of you who have not gone onto the Hill, uh, the folks you will talk to, if not a member, are the staff. You'll be shocked at how young they are, but don't take their age as a way to dismiss them. They have the ear of their member and they have enormous influence. But they can't be experts in everything. So they probably will need to hear from you about what that issue is, and don't assume that they know the details of what you're talking about. That's one. And the last thing I'll say about it is whatever your ask is, say it early. Don't wait till the end. Get your ask up front and then all your
Mm.
supporting stuff afterwards. So let me stop there. I see a hand already went up. And I'm
Great.
happy to answer questions of anything. I have no filter, so ask away.
Great tips, Senator Andrew. We've been teaching these kinds of things, and maybe you can reflect on why it's important to lobby people who agree with you, even in addition to people who don't. Well,
Sure. I mean, look, whatever the position, whatever the topic may be, we, whether it's me or congressional folks or whatever, want to hear from our constituents and want to know that we are on the right path. And so sometimes your most effective thing is to come in to a representative who you know already agrees with you and just say thank you. That's it, right? I'm here just to say thank you. You don't even need to tell them your talking points because you already know that they agree with you. And, too often, and we talked about love and kindness in the beginning, too often, we just get, let me tell you what you did badly today. I'm just going to complain about you. So I can tell you when someone comes to me and just says, I just want to say thank you, I'm a little bit surprised and shocked. And I'm like, wait, really? And then, yep, just thank you. So it's absolutely, as you go through your delegations in your states, those are great meetings to have.
Oh, that's great. That's a great thing to say and to remind us of. And also, staffers have told us there's just so much on their plate. Stuff is falling off the plate. What is it you want us to flag to?
Right.
Um, let's see. Since New Jersey has so many, Sharon um, is asking, oh, where did that go? Does anybody see that, Sharon, about offshore wind?
Offshore wind. Yes, I
Wanted
see
you
it.
to talk
Projects were
about.
shut down or projects starting again. So, okay. I am a big supporter of offshore wind. Um, where do I even want to begin with this? New Jersey was on the path to having 11 gigawatts of offshore wind within the next 3 to 5 years. To put that in perspective, it's more or less about 11 brand new clean power plants that would have powered millions upon millions of homes. Offshore wind was struggling a bit, not just in New Jersey, but before you get to Trump, right? Was struggling a bit because of the economics of it. It's expensive to get it to build it because you build it onshore, get it offshore, get it going, etc. And like any new technology, it needs or it works when government comes in to try to help get that off the ground. Something that you start is always expensive, and then as you get that economy of scale, prices can come down. So it was struggling a bit. Trump's political decision is beyond absurd. To give you an idea, if you look at the polling on offshore wind going back to about a decade ago, there was no partisanship in that. Republicans and Democrats supported offshore wind approximately at the same level. Now, of course, Democrats are here and Republicans are here. Trump killed, things that were basically almost ready to go. So what's happening is we're not building right now because of the fact that we don't control the federal water where we want to make these offshore wind occur. So the different offshore wind organizations are talking and working, preparing for after 2028, with the assumption that the next administration will be amenable to restarting offshore wind. But we're going to lose, 4 more years of progress with that.
I, yeah, yeah, the years that we're losing.
Yeah.
Um, so is that, let's see. Can somebody, Melanie is asking, happy to hear tips on lobbying, but also want to know what can be done to increase public respect for science. Let me
Oof.
just say that my brother-in-law is a plasma physicist
No way.
at
Where?
MIT and moved to Manchester. Lipschultz, Bruce Lipschultz. I don't know if you know
I
him.
know the name. I
We're
know the
playing
name.
Jewish geography. Um, so yeah, can you talk about that? How is there, what can be done to increase? Do you feel it in the legislative body that people respect it, but they're not speaking about it? That they're afraid to speak up about it if they're on the,
Science is obviously taking a hit. RFK Jr. and EPA, administrator. Science is definitely taking a hit. When you look at public polling, even today, scientists remain near the top. Firefighters, nurses are there. We've dropped, but it is not to the bottom. So, I mean, the way do it is I talk about cancer research, cancer, and health research, right? As an example. I also try to just listen. I've had meetings with anti-vaccine folks, but often, if you listen to them, not some of the RFK stuff, but they tend to be moms of children with autistic, whose children are autistic, who just love their children and are looking for answers. So I try my best to listen and not be pedantic or not lecture. I also know that sometimes I have to walk away from some conversations because the anti-science is just there's nothing I can do about it.
yeah. The interesting thing is it feels like as science has gone down in the polls,
Yeah.
climate has gone up. People are concerned about climate.
Well, it's hotter and hotter and hotter. Surprise, it's hotter and hotter and
Surprise.
hotter, and
What
storm activity gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and it doesn't care about partisanship, of
what are your
course.
concerns about climate hushing? I'm not sure. Do you
Climate
understand
hushing,
hushing? Did you
meaning,
mention it? You mean suppressing climate? Is that what you mean, Sharon?
uh,
Phyllis, yes, that was climate hushing, is that we're not talking about
yeah,
they're just not talking about, they're not using the word climate change.
right,
It's just
right,
there's
right. Look, I mean, I've been trying to be polite about the current administration. They are the most anti-science, anti-people, anti-everything administration in certainly all of our lifetimes and possibly in all of our country's history. Best I can say, what do we do about, Lee Zeldin and others? We vote them all out. And that uh, the scientist in me goes, you know what? This Earth has been around for 4 billion years, and we've been around for whatever number of thousands upon thousands of years, whatever it is for us. Uh, this is very problematic, but I'm going to trust that the Earth can survive these next 4 years. My bigger concern is the fact that so many people are just tuning out and are just utterly disengaged. My own children struggle with that because they just sort of know Trump and money and fighting and everything else. So the power is here, certainly in all of us, to vote out, a new president in 28, to vote for a House of Representatives this November that will support a pro-climate agenda, to potentially, do the same thing in the Senate this time, if not 2 years from now. That's our power, certainly. But you got to educate the folks, and you got to find out who your friends are.
What about
Um,
I agree, but don't prioritize? Rondi is
yeah.
asking. Is that I mean, everybody has their own set of priorities, I guess.
Yeah. Everyone
So
has their own set of priorities. Climate is tough also politically because you can't point to scientifically, you can't point to a storm and go, that was 100% due to climate change. You can point to the trends. You can point to the average temperature going up every year. And so it is difficult from a political perspective where you have to balance a budget, for example, to say this is such a strong priority. If we don't start doing something here, then the next superstorm comes like Sandy that hit New Jersey and caused many billions of dollars of damage. Like you spend money up front, you can potentially save money. It also lends to the fact that, I'm speaking from a state perspective, but even from a federal perspective, the United States has to return to a leadership perspective, but what China is doing, for example, what is happening in India has such an important impact because we
Mhm.
also know that the quality of life goes up as energy goes, access to energy and clean water goes up. So it is a how do we manage this at a global scale?
Yeah, it's so interesting to us, of course, that one of the arguments about not acting on climate was, well, China's not gonna,
Right, right,
but China's
right,
gone.
right. So I'll just jump in with a couple different things, like a lot of questions about fusion I'll get to at the end, but a lot of questions as well about data centers.
Data
So
centers.
let me just
Yeah.
talk about data centers for a second.
Hmm.
Like we can't now, that's my phone, it's out of focus, but you can't even Google at this point without AI jumping in, and the amount of energy that you use when AI answers your question versus the amount of energy you use when Google would just, search the web for it is like a factor of 10. So yeah, it is enormous. Right now, I can only speak to New Jersey, not nationally, but data centers are consuming, I think it's 2 to 3% of New Jersey's entire electrical consumption, and it's projected to hit 10%, 8 to 10% in just a couple of years. That's enormous. So data centers are huge. I'll be quick on all this, but there's two issues, right? One is water, one is electricity. Water is solvable because a lot of data centers are starting, they need to cool all these servers. They're starting to move to a closed loop system, just to be technical for a minute, which basically means they suck up a bunch of water, but then once they've done that, it's closed and they're done. As opposed to like a nuclear power plant, which is just consuming an enormous amount of water and spewing it back. The
Mm-hmm.
electrical consumption is what's going on. So until some technology advance happens that drops the energy consumption down, this is just the biggest problem. And you've all seen the headlines that Google or Meta or any of these enormous Apple, Amazon, billion-dollar towards trillion-dollar companies have the resources to just say we're going to restart 3 Mile Island. I mean, that's a crazy. But when money is no object, they can look at trying to do that.
Mm.
But
And fusion.
I'll
Well,
get to fusion in a second. Yeah.
okay. All
Um,
right. Go, I
right.
didn't mean to
But
interrupt.
but until then, we have to put policies in place that protect us because otherwise they're going to suck up all the energy and our utility bills are going to go through the roof.
Mhm.
So it will be to require them to bring their own energy, bring their own clean energy. And myself and my colleagues, it's being led by Senator Bob Smith, but I'm a sponsor, are requiring that they have to bring their own clean energy. We're going to put
Mhm.
tariffs on them, surcharges on them, put that into our clean energy funds. This is happening. The issue here is the speed of AI. We've never seen a disruptor like this before. The internet took decades for for everyone to get a decade, right? The steam engine, the automobile. They all took a long period of time. We have never seen this level of the speed of the disruption. So we are struggling to put policies in place. Back to, you're going to lobby on the Hill. This administration has said leave AI alone at all costs, and they're going to try to stop us in New Jersey and every other state from regulating data centers, and we're going to take them to court for that. Fusion,
Mhm.
real quick, I would say this: the in the last decade, there has been billions of dollars going into funding the private fusion companies. We've gone from being funded on the private side by those who don't care about a return on investment, just want to see some good happen, to now venture capitalists who want to see the return on investment because we're getting closer. There are several of the experiments out there that have a legitimate chance of succeeding in the next 10 years. But success means you make your first of your kind, and the price of electricity is going to be absurd.
Mm,
It's going to be another 10 years. And I'm being wildly optimistic by saying that,
mm,
right? If everything goes right. So fusion will get there. But if, there's two different things here. For data centers, it's let's say 20 years and 30 years, right? To where we're really up and running with fusion. And of course, we're already past the tipping point when it comes to climate change. We're just trying to figure out how we can quickly mitigate whatever damage is irreversible at this point. So that's my two
mm.
cents on fusion.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
think
yeah.
I want to thank you very much. I think
Sure.
we want to get to our action
Okay.
tonight. I wrote a small essay called "How to Talk to a Physicist." Um,
What did it say?
it said, "Ask them what kind of physics they did." The second question, what do you do? The second question is, what kind of physics? And then
So
you can talk about your work.
So, Dor, if I could just 30 seconds, my first television interview in New Jersey, the person said, "Oh, at this point, it's in the General Assembly. Oh, Assemblyman Zwicker, what type of physicist are you?" No, no, I hear you're a particle physicist. And
No.
without thinking, I said, "No, no, no, I'm a plasma physicist." Right? And I could tell that the reporter, number one, didn't know what I was talking about, and two, didn't really care. He was just opening something up. So you're right. If you ask me, I'll go on forever, but you got to know your audience.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you so very much. This was really, your work is so important. And as you said, it's coming from above and below, which is a very Jewish concept. And so I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing and the devotion and persistence that you have. Uh, Lots of
And and
claps and
and,
hearts.
and thank you for organizing this, as you said, 6, 7 years ago. I cannot emphasize enough, as my last words, the importance of community coming together among shared values and taking action.
Yes.
That is, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm beyond grateful for what you're doing.
Yes, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your work as well.
Thank you.
So have a great evening,
All right,
and
thank you.
you're welcome to stay for our action alert. Oop. And so let me turn the mic over to Melanie. Is that right? You're going to work on our action
That's
tonight.
right. What a wonderful lead in to have those words about the importance of action because tonight I'm introducing our action. And I'm hoping that this will be, even though it's a little bit different than what we've usually done, it will be very meaningful to us. So, I want to talk for a minute about my own life experience, and maybe it's something that you can relate to as well. For many years, I worked on encouraging people to take personal action on climate. We had a green team, we had a sustainability team. We put solar panels on the temple. I put solar panels on our house. We bought a hybrid. We did the reduce, reuse, recycle. We put in lights in the temple so that if you sat still too long, the lights went out. All of the things that we could do to reduce our carbon footprint. And all of that was important and all of that was meaningful. But a number of years ago, I realized that that was not going to move the needle. That was not going to make the change that we needed. And so I really shifted a little bit from working on all of these personal things to working on things that were more political, not partisan necessarily. Right now they feel pretty partisan, but they didn't have to feel partisan, but political, that is, mobilizing as a society. And I just want to show you the studies that have been done. Our individual actions do make a difference. I don't want to say that they don't. And I think they also motivate us and they also feel right for our values, but they don't make the kind of difference that we need. Look at that little blue pie piece versus the whole circle.
we need collective action. We need collective action on the state level. We need it on the federal level. We also need it internationally. But unless we do it in the United States on the federal level, it cannot be strengthened internationally. And I want to talk about one other thing, and that is we're not alone in this. Those of you who were with us last month for the Environmental Vote Project, people have noticed that climate change is happening. It's not that people don't care about climate, but the problem is that most people don't see climate as something that they can take action on. They don't belong to organizations, they don't lobby, they don't take action on climate issues. And that's what I want to talk to us about tonight. So, I'm talking to you, those of you who are here tonight, this is where you come in. You are doing something. You have already felt the empowerment that comes with that and the way it lifts your spirit and gives you hope. You are also someone who is valued. You are valued as a friend, as a neighbor, as a parent, as a cousin. You are respected and you are believed. So if you talk about why climate matters to you and about why you are doing something about it, people will be open to listening to you. They say in Jewish tradition, words from the heart enter the heart. If you speak from your heart to someone that you know personally, they will respond to that. And that's what we're asking you to do tonight. We're not calling our elected officials. We're building on what we did last month when in small groups we talked about how we could talk about these issues. But tonight, we are asking you, while we're still on the Zoom, to talk to someone you know, someone who's sympathetic. Don't call Uncle Harry, who is MAGA all the way, but someone who you know is sympathetic but is not yet active. Someone that you can be a trusted messenger to, and we want you to invite them to participate in effective collective action through our upcoming lobby day. Now, I would prefer that you call them,
Taste it.
but if calling
You have to
is
taste it. I don't know. Maybe it needs maple syrup. I don't know.
okay, let's mute everybody else for just a moment. What I'd like you to do is to call, and if you're not a caller, then at least to text. Those are the most effective ways of reaching people. What I like to do is after I've called or after I've texted, then I send the email. The email says either, I'm so sorry we didn't get to talk this evening, but this is what I called about. Or they say, it was so great to talk with you this evening, and I just want to make sure that you have all the information that you need in order to move forward. So, this is what we're going to do for these next couple of minutes. You're going to stay on mute so we don't bother everybody else with our phone calls. You're going to pick up your telephone, okay? Here it is. And you're either going to call someone or text someone that you know, their phone number is probably already in your phone, and say to them, this is important to me, and I'd like to tell you about it. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to unshare so that I can see your questions in the chat. I'm glad to answer any questions you might have.
So I just want to say that Jewish Federation taught me years ago that you give your own contribution first, and then you ask somebody else for a contribution. So I'm going to take that message from Jewish Federation and say, if you haven't registered, register yourself first before you call anybody else. But make sure you register if you're going to be around and able to do that and call someone. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to say that, Phyllis. Have you registered yet? And add the 3 people that are in your household. Then we'll get very close to our goal for lobbying this season.
What I learned from Federation is if you smile when you're talking on the phone, somehow they can hear that. So
Ooh.
smile as you call your friends. neighbors, cousins, relatives, or text. Young people, probably text is better. And we're just going to give you about another 5 or 6 minutes to do that. And then I have one more slide to share before we close out tonight. So let's do that. I'm just going to keep an eye on the chat if you have questions. All the links are here. You can offer to send that in an email follow-up. There's someone in your circle who might be willing to join us, and remind them that it's not all day. When we say lobby day, some people think we need them from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. It's not the case. They'll have 1 or 2 appointments, each appointment about half an hour, get on 10 minutes earlier, really asking people for an hour for the sake of the planet. You have more than one friend or relative, make yourself a little list. They could be in your state or they could be someplace else in the country. We have some new states this time, and we hope to be able to add to our number. We were 31 states last time.
What are our new states this time?
We just had today Vermont, and Phyllis, I feel like there was another one.
So if you know people in Vermont,
if you know people in Vermont, if you know people in Montana, they're going great guns in Montana. We could use more people in Louisiana. We could use more people in Indiana. We're expanding and doing some House of Representatives this year in some of the larger states. So if you're in California, we may be talking to you about that. If you're in Pennsylvania, if you're in Illinois. I'll give you 3 more minutes. And you're welcome to keep doing this after we get off tonight or tomorrow, or when you're in the grocery store and you run into someone you haven't seen for a long time. Hey, what are you up to these days? This is what you're up to.
We've got Louisiana on board, and I'm wondering if you would sign up for our lobby day. So I'm just going to remind you that it is very effective to send an email afterwards to say either I'm sorry I didn't catch you when I called last night, or to say it was great to talk. And here's the link just in case it's hard to get from the text, and make it easier for people. Give another minute.
stop the share and check one more time. Great. And this is how I want to conclude. I want to say thank you, Toda Rabah. I want to thank you for being with us this evening. I want to thank you for signing up for Lobby Day, whether you did that before this meeting tonight or whether you did it right now while we were here together. The earlier you sign up, the easier it is for us to create our teams, to get you all the information you need, the talking points. We have them ready much earlier this year because we know that last time you really wanted them earlier. I want to thank you for reaching out to your family and friends. And if you got a positive response, I'd like you to send us their names and emails so that we can add them to the mailing list and give them information about our briefings about Lobby Day. I also find it's very effective to share our website and to share the recordings of our past programs. When people see some of the people who've spoken to us, whether that's Congressman Raskin or Senator Schiff or Bill McKibben, all of the great people we've had in the past as speakers, it makes them feel that they're part of something larger and something that can have a real impact on our country. So again, thank you all very much. Toda Rabah, and I'm going to hand things over back to Devorah.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Gosh, I see so many questions that came in right at the end when he was answering the last question. I'm wondering if well, there are a lot of them, and I'm wondering if he would be willing to answer some of them at his email. So maybe Debbie, you can follow up on that and put that in our messages to our people in our newsletter. But that was two really terrific contributors to our meeting tonight. And I hope that you all will be successful in reaching people. But have you registered yet? That's the question. It's time for you to register for Lobby Day. We had at least four people signed up tonight for Lobby Day, and Mirla would like to put up the big list of our sponsors. We always get tons and tons of sponsors, and so if you don't see your organization, get on them. Ask them why. Here over on the left. Look at that. How many are there, Mirla?
I don't know, 40 or so about. So
Yeah,
we need you. We need you
we need
and
you.
your
Yeah,
organization.
yeah. So look at that list. Look for your organization, and if they're not on it, ask them why. Nadine, did you still have, I'm sorry, I wasn't able, can you unmute?
Can't hear me?
No, but now we can.
Okay. Um, yeah, the questions I had from earlier, he actually addressed them, but this is about the procedures if I explain it to people. Generally, we have one meeting where we're kind of briefed on the whole procedures and the focus of our questions for Lobby Day. I thought that's what today was going to be. Then each of our state leaders, convenes another smaller one where we figure out who's doing what roles and so forth. Is there going to be a two-step organizing call process or what?
Yeah, Phyllis is shaking her head. Can you address that question,
Sure.
Phyllis? And then we'll close the meeting. And if you'd like to stay on for a few minutes afterwards with other questions, we'll be happy to entertain those.
Our July meeting, our briefing is going to be the week before Lobby Day. That's when we're going to break into our groups from our states. We didn't want to do it at this meeting because so many more people are still registering. The week before our briefing, we're going to have a special meeting for our state leads. We will have our talking points out at that point. So we will have everything ready for you. We know the three topics that we're talking about. We will make sure that everybody has the information and then the state leads can identify the speakers and everybody's comfortable with it. I was just asked on the chat, are there any prerequisites to being a sponsor? There's being a sponsor does not cost any money. It just is a way, it's just for helping us publicize it. It's a way of getting our message out. That's all it is. I guess there is a prerequisite, and that is that you're a Jewish organization. We hadn't thought of it for non-Jewish organizations, but you will have, go on, Marilla. Oh, okay. So we will have that breakout meeting that we always have, July 7th. July 14th. We're hoping everybody will be registered by then.
Great.
I'm still a
Okay.
little confused because usually when we have a two meetings, we need the whole meeting to just get our roles and stuff figured out. So are you saying that we're not going to get an overall briefing, except it'll be sent to us in emails and our leaders will tell us? I'm just a little bit vague. You said the week before twice. So could you just
On July 14th, we will talk at first about what we're lobbying about. And we're pretty definite at this point that we will be speaking about funding for science, especially weather science. We will be talking about what the senator talked about in making companies responsible. There's legislation that's trying to make them not responsible for the pollution that they do. And also the Roadless Act, the idea of protecting our undeveloped lands. But we will be briefing everyone about that on July 14th. And then we will be breaking at that meeting, we will be breaking into state groups. And you will be able to stay on together for as long as you'd like as a state group to give out parts and so forth.
Okay.
In the past, that meeting has been early and not everyone has been registered. We're really pushing this year to get everyone registered by July 14th so that everyone can get briefed and everyone will be prepared.
We're
Okay.
also
Let
trying
me
to have a shorter time for the speakers. It might just be us speaking or maybe somebody making a very brief appearance because we want to make sure we have plenty of time for the breakout rooms. We understand in the past that they've been rushed or they've been running late.
Okay. Let me just close the meeting. I want to respect everybody's time. And if you want to stay on, we will stay on for another 10 minutes or so if you have questions. So register for Lobby Day. And I want to say last Shabbat, we read the portion Shalach Lecha, the story of the spies. And 10 of them said it's too difficult. And 2 of them said, yes, we can. Your work has shifted the tide. Climate is no longer too difficult. We have the technology. It's not no longer taboo to talk about it. And we are talking and acting and activating, and our work is doing something about it. And the numbers are shifting. The tide is rising and turning at the same time. That's your work doing that. Now we can be bearers of some good news in these dark time and challenging times. Trends are actually changing in spite of the giants that are in our way, and we have momentum. We won't wander for 40 years. So keep the faith, everyone. Keep the hope up. Keep up the sacred, sacred work that you are doing, and blessings to you all.